Hello, people. This is your boy, the Omega Katana, here with the live stream, and I'm just going to treat this as a random episode of the podcast. And before we begin, we just got a lot to say about the Super Bowl. Has to be one of the dullest Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life. It was so dull that my brother actually predicted the Buccaneers winning against the Chiefs because of the Chiefs just made some stupid ass plays. No, Mahomes did a great job. He did his best, but his team just gave up and collapsed all of a sudden. Like, it's insane. Bro, really, dude, you just don't give up on a game. And I'm not the guy that talks about sports. One, I'm an Eagles fan, and two, I don't talk about sports, even though I like watching NFL football and XFL football, but there's a lot to go on here besides the Super Bowl, and why in the hell, and more interesting enough, there's going to be lots of science here because it's just me in this room alone. Yeah, home alone in this episode of the Omega 13 podcast. And it's going to be like a short one, like an hour or so, or 30 minutes at best. But the whole thing is like, I was on Twitter recently, and I just found out that it's like Blue Sky Studios, that studios that made the Ice Age movies and whatnot, and Horror and Here's a Who, or the Peanuts flicks, the Peanuts movie. Guess what that studio became? It's deceased because Disney decided, due to Disney buying off Fox, and whatnot back at last year or 2 years ago, and they decided to shut it down due to financial issues. And I have to say, it's a really, really bad thing of the North American animation industry, due to like Blue Sky's like one of the only major animation studios in the East Coast, which I didn't know. It's like it was like a West Coast thing, but oh, hey, what's up, Mad Matt? How's it going? It's just me, just like on here today and whatnot. It's a desert, as you can say. It is a desert. Big time. It is a desert, and I just need some tops to talk about. But people all over who love animation on Twitter and social media is like going insane over this because all the animation studios are in California or California, whatever it is. Hate that state. And they just they just killed them, It's like that one meme where they go in the alleyways and they decide and the alleyways where the guys get set up by the other party and get shot up like a John Woo flick. That's what it is. Gangsta stuff. This is what the Yakuza and the gangsters will do. I'm not lying. They just shut them down, despite them making one of the most popular and successful 3D films of the 2000s. And you know what they are? The Ice Age flicks, which due to success helped them made the Peanuts movie and various adaptations of Dr. Seuss and whatnot. And that's the evil things about corporatism, my friend. If you're worthless, you're going to get shot up in an alleyway. Instead of getting a promotion, you got a promotion getting riddled with a bunch of bullets in your body and with a red pool of red stuff coming out of you. That's what it is. Kind of wrong, isn't it? And I hope those guys from Blue Sky Studios able to find any work, because canceled projects suck at the end of the day. Because because all that hard work and investments out the window, deceased, dead, the end. It's a shame. It is a big shame indeed. And oh yeah, that's a good idea. I prefer 2D animation for the long run because like more effort and more art, and it looks and doesn't age. 3D animation ages as years go on, while 2D animation, it's done right, aged pretty damn well. And I agree, we got back to doing 2D animation, but the problem is you have to afford some animators that can still do the art, because basically now 2D animation is, wait a minute, Castlevania, Powerhouse Studios, they're still doing 2D animation and the like, even though they sent some stuff out to Korea, but they're still keeping the art alive with that amazing series and how well it's been adapted, as well as and how well it animates. But Disney just killed off one of the biggest studios in the Western animation industry. Now Ice Age is going to be forgotten and whatnot due to Disney. That's what it is. But anything you want to talk about, Mad Matt? Because that stream the other day was amazing when we talked about in the stream. But basically, Disney can go to hell. I prefer anime, thank you very much. The only good films I like from them is like only a handful, and that's about it. I only got Disney Plus because my sisters paid for it, and Hulu too. My sisters paid for it. That's what it is. I just take the advantage of it. I don't pay a cent. Yeah, it's the one sad thing. I understood. Like, the people couldn't hear us, and I just want to watch it, and they can only hear me. And yours volumes is very low. I couldn't barely hear you. That was a shame. But anything else, the stream was fun. But unlike the OBS thing, in StreamYard, you're probably going to hear yourself much more if your internet connection decides to not cut off and on and whatnot. And if you want to go in, you could just there's a link above in the in the Twitter DM I sent you, and it invites you to this link if you're interested in joining. But right now, I just what's seriously, they just shut down one of the biggest studios in the 2000s, killed it off, alleyway style, like a John Woo flick. Embarrassment. And now the whole animation world is going to be, in the US, is going to be in a chaos right now. You have to go with Disney or suspect your project to be canceled and be forgotten. Thanks to the rat. And in my opinion, Disney's goal, Bob Iger's and Disney's goal, wants to control all of pop culture to the point that they own it all. and they can prolong the licenses, even the ones that they own, they don't use, as long as possible to the point they can control it. That's what it is at the end of the day. They can control pop culture to the end of time. But let me just say this about this whole thing, that everything's now going to be just Disney only as the time goes on. And Mad Max says Disney is basically the same old megacorp, megalania Cyberpunk warned us about. Regarding the entertainment industry, yes. Disney doesn't care about its own roots. That's how bad it is. EA's with the video game. EA and Activision's with the video games. Amazon's with like shipping and store product. Can't say the word right now. And Microsoft's with PCs and whatnot. They're the megacorps that control a fraction of our lives in the sake of profits and money, which is shameful. Shameful to the point I couldn't believe it. Like my throat's getting dry. And all we can do, due to like they buy Congress basically every step of the way, so they basically own them. Here's this video on YouTube the other day that these people just don't care about the products. They don't care about the company. They care about climbing the ladder to the point they want to climb up to the point they become the higher ups in society. While don't know about the company, nor its products, nor about the fans. It's just about themselves, man. And I'm not starting a whole protest movement and whatnot because I'm not into that. But seriously, it is going to cause a monopoly, and I cannot even imagine that if Disney's empire is going to crumble like Rome's. Imagine that. And Mickey Mouse will finally go into the public domain as a result. Along with the Donald Duck and the Goofy and the Muppets, they will all be in public domain because of it. Because if the Disney empire crumbles, hold on, I'll send you a link, okay? Mad Matt. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Think about. Hold on. Okay. Oh, yo, what's up, Alex? Yo,
Yo,
students. Like, I was just like trying to bring people in the stream and whatnot, and it's kind of silent here. Besides Mad Matt being here, thanks for showing up. And is that from Ace Combat? Forgot whose symbol it is. It's been a while since I played a series.
yes,
Triggers? Yeah.
triggers. Yeah, I thought I was running late and I didn't want to scroll through my whole gallery looking for my normal pick, so I just went with whatever was there that came to mind.
Yeah. Like it anyway.
Yeah, been in an ace mood on top of doing Yakuza 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad you're enjoying that game.
for the most part very good. Couple of the mini games kind of drive me bonkers, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
The golf one I think had me the most frustrated, but once I figured out the whole use of the wind physics, it got, I realized, okay, that's how it works. And I was just doing a small stream of it when your link came in, so I was just doing another round of the cabaret, getting some story bit part of it out of the way, and just and then hurrying on over here. I thought I was honestly late for your stream.
Yeah, you're on time basically. I was just talking about how Disney just killed off Blue Sky Studios, which you don't know what they are. They're the guys who made the Ice Age movies.
Yup, they're basically. I would say Disney is to movies what EA is to games, but I think vice versa since Disney's been in this game longer than they have.
Yeah. Basically, what Disney did to Blue Sky is basically send them in an alleyway, and Blue Sky thought they was going to have a deal or something. No, instead he set them up and put Blue Sky in a bunch of lead and blue stuff and red stuff coming out of them.
Yup.
Yo, what up?
Yo, what up, my dude? How's it going?
Oh, doing fine. Hell, just about to tell you, I played a really awesome game of Dungeons and Dragons with Magus and the gang, Magus Society last night.
Nice.
Man, it was everything I had hoped it would be.
Man, wish I could play, but I don't have any equipment for it. Don't have the figurines. I don't have the book. I don't have
I don't think you need the figurines if you play online. I mean, there is Roll20 if.
Yeah. And also, besides that, I've been learning how to code on Python.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. Complex, but interesting stuff. And, okay, hold on. I have to do something real quick. I'll be right back.
Okie
You
dokie.
guys can just talk whatever you want to need to talk to just keep the empty chat or keep this video active, if you know what I mean, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So the name of this D&D campaign, and I was in what is based around the world called Keldoria. Magus gave a really good, rich history and lore about Keldoria. God, all I gotta say is, I was immediately hooked, and then that's not even going into our characters yet.
From what I understand, D&D is like the ultimate like choose your fantasy kind of RPG, right? Like you just pick a couple of friends, pick a campaign, and
Dude, it's like a video game, but even more so like a video game, if you know what I mean. It's basically everything I love about video games and then some.
that's good. Yeah,
And it also helps if you have really good friends who also love to play.
I would play, but I unfortunately don't have any figures or rule books.
I don't think you need figures or rule books if you play online.
Yeah,
I mean, there is Roll20.
Like I've always known of D&D, but I've never really gotten into it, if you get my drift. But I've seen plenty upon books lining the bookstores as far as the extended universe is concerned.
Yeah. Although if we're going to talk tabletop, one tabletop RPG I've been dying to play would be Mechton Zeta. I mean, goddamn. Being the star of my own mecha anime, dude, that just makes my Mecha Drill Sergeant Johnson stand at attention.
Is that like I'm guessing that's like something similar to BattleTech? Because when I think Mecha,
it's more anime than BattleTech, but then again, an anime called Fang of the Sun Dogram pretty much heavily influenced BattleTech, right down to the mecha designs and aims and tactics and all that. So yeah, you can make your Mechton campaign look a bit like BattleTech.
Okay. Yeah, it's just when I think tabletop mecha games, that's BattleTech's the one that comes to my mind the most. So good to know there's other ones.
Yeah, but the thing about Mechton is that not only do you create a character, you also create your own mechs. And by create your own mechs, I mean Armored Core style create your own mechs.
From the hull to the gears to the computer cores and all that jazz, I'm guessing.
Like it is. Forget the kitchen sink. It's got the whole kitchen. It's got the whole kit and caboodle.
Damn. Yeah, I'm still trying to. I've played cores 4 and 4 answer. I need to get. I've found a couple of the PS2 ones. I'm trying to get the whole set.
The PS2 generation of Armored Core is the best in my humble opinion, man.
Yeah,
I mean that is Kawamori at his most Kawamori.
Yeah, there's 5 games in the whole in that whole subset.
We talking Armored Core 3?
Yes, there's besides there was the 2 generation, and then there was the 3rd gen, which had 4 or 5 games to its name.
And then of course there's Formula Front on the PSP, which is hard as balls, but really enjoyable, especially if you like Gundam Build Fighters.
Yeah, I really liked Build Fighters. Try, I know, is not as good, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
I love both the original Build Fighters and Try. So hey, you won't find me bitching much.
Yeah,
Build Divers was kind of meh. Rewrite was actually pretty damn good.
Is it divers or drivers? I keep hearing like both.
Divers.
Okay, I think drivers is like a sequel to that or something, or another in that genre. There's some of them kind of start to blend together after a while.
Yeah. And then of course there's G Gundam, which is stupidly fun in the best way possible.
Yeah, I watched G Gun about a couple years ago. I was basically marathoning through a bunch of Gundam animes because I had. Well, let me put it this way: I was like I was a casual fan of Gundam for a time. Like I knew of it because I'd seen the model kits. I think the first time I did was roughly at the gift shop in the Japanese area for Epcot. I see the boxes and I'm like, what is this? I've never seen this. And so I've kind of always grown up around it, but not really being able to get into it at the time. Then
yeah, it was kind of the same way before I even watched the original movie trilogy back on VHS. And that was back when we still had Suncoast, man.
Yeah, I didn't have Toonami until the 2000s, so I missed out on Wing. And the only thing I knew of Wing was basically a couple of kits that my neighbor, who no longer lives near me, he moved away years ago. He had a bunch. He had a heavy arms. He had a Death Scythe. I think they were 1/100 scale, but I think they were no grades because the master grades did not come out until later, I believe.
Yeah.
So I had fun with those. I was like, this is cool. I need to look at more of this. I remember like I bought like a DVD of Endless Waltz, and I recall enjoying it, and understanding what the general plot was. But I did think it was like it was both what I expected and not what I expected at the same time, because I was very much a noob at that point. Like I didn't know how the universes operated. Then a couple of years, then I looked up this. I found out this one YouTuber, anime overviewer. He no longer does anything. He's retired, and he reviewed a bunch of Gundam stuff. And I was like, okay, I see what it's all about. And then Sci-Fi Monday came back, and I watched Gundam 00, and with Gundam 00 followed by Build Fighters, I got hooked. Not just in the animes, but also in wanting to build shit as well.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about Gundam, man. Once you get hooked by any Gundam, be it Universal Century, Wing, 00, or hell, anything that isn't Seed or Destiny.
Yeah, I tried watching Seed. I actually watched Seed around the time that I watched Endless Waltz. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing, just a couple of episodes, and I was kind of bored. Like, I didn't like the character designs. I didn't like the
That's
melodrama.
Hisashi Harai for you, dude.
And I do like one thing. I do like the mobile suits. I do think
that's pretty much the one thing Seed's got going for it is the mobile suit designs by Kunio Kawara.
Hello, I'm back now.
Yellow
Gundam Seed, because basically that series is alright, it's meh to me, but Seed Destiny, now that is complete crap.
Pretty much everyone
yeah,
considers that one garbage. Like, I have I think the last Gundam show I actually watched was Turn A. Other than the main character's design, which I didn't like at all, I generally liked Turn A. But then when I looked at the list and realized Seed was next, I was like, I'm gonna put it off because one, I just binge watched a whole shit ton of Gundam, so I'm a little tired, and also I kind of want to mentally prepare myself for Seed, and I've kind of neglected to go back and continue because I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. And Seed Destiny's, of course, 50 episodes later, Seed Destiny happens, and I'm like, oh dear God, I have to subject myself to that. So I'm kind of like putting it off for as long as possible until the mood strikes me.
Yeah.
Because
Right side though, Turn 8 Gundam was amazing.
it was
Mecha designs and all. Especially if we're talking Sid Mead as a mecha designer.
Yeah.
yeah. The design's a little weird, but I like it for what it is.
Yeah.
I would have.
sometimes weird is really good.
I personally would have.
Legato, dude.
Yeah, I personally would have given maybe incorporated the more traditional Gundam face mask into the helmet, and then have the mustache go off to the sides of the head. But other than that,
Yeah,
it has its own identity.
Yeah, give it some mutton chops and all that. Lemmy style. That way you'd have God in the machine.
That's what basically Turn A and Turn X are. Basically invincible killing machines. Able to reset Gundam, any universe where it builds, like reset it, and then the cycle repeats itself.
And how does it do it? Nano machines done.
Nano machines, yup.
Yeah, that's kind of why I consider Turn A the end point of all Gundam.
Yeah.
I believe, well, kind of. They didn't Tomino do like a sequel?
Kireko never fucking happened.
Yeah. Kireko a disappointment.
That sucked.
Yeah, that came from Tomino, man. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, Tomino is hit and miss, but when Tomino hits, he knocks a fucking homer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the downside of creativity. You're not always going to get a home run when it hits, but sometimes you miss. It's like he's basically the Japanese equivalent of George Lucas. When he's good, but when he falters, it's noticeable.
Yup, with the prequels. I like the prequels.
Then even with the prequels of Star Wars, I still acknowledge the prequels way more than the sequels.
At least with the prequels, you can at least look for context as to why there was problems.
Yeah. Did he just want to try some new things with the CGI, which he made it a focus instead of the story and plot?
Yeah, and even then, there were still practical effects in the original, in the prequels, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like that reminds me of, that one time recently with reboots and whatnot, with prequels and reboots and whatnot. It's about changing the subject slightly, but they're making a Powerpuff Girls live action reboot on CW.
Oh, God, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, it's all over Twitter. And come on, man. Like, seriously, why they don't make a direct adaptation of it instead of like...
Don't even get me started on the Winx Club live action adaptation.
I'm not a Winx Club fan nor a Witch fan, but trust me, I feel bad for those fans because what they got is BS, man. Like, yo, Mr. Anime, what's up, man?
It's like it's like, let's take the most upbeat, inspiring cartoon for kids ever. That's like
Italian,
like a dozen or so, and say, fuck it. Let's deconstruct this shit into the most miserable piece of trash as possible.
Because it makes us feel good.
Yeah, because apparently deconstruction means it's good. Just ask Evangelion.
Deconstruction is not always means good. Ask Xenogears.
What?
Xenogears is awesome. I'm not knocking on Xenogears. Xenogears does deconstruction right.
Yeah, but
I've never played it, but I heard of it.
Confused me there, Omega dude.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the confusion, but deconstruction is done right with Xenogears.
And then it's done wrong with Evangelion.
Yes. With the whole Evangelion thing, Anno was just depressed. So he just blew off steam, and it's overthinkers.
Something really depressing for the sake of being really depressing.
Yeah. It's just there because
there was still passion and love for Tokusatsu and all that, given his love for Ultraman, but even still,
yeah,
considering the state of mind the man is in, Yeah, I'm not really. Things are not going to be all sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, man.
I tried to get into Evangelion with the rebuild movies. I mean, I kind of enjoyed the first one, not so much the second one. And a big reason for why is just I just could not stand Asuka. I cannot stand Shinji. I understand why they're the most miserable pieces of flesh in the whole thing, but I just cannot stand watching them because they're just so freaking miserable and annoying.
Yes.
See, that's why I'm more stoked for Getter Robo Arc
Exactly.
than Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 because
Oh my god.
at least with
Worse
Getter
than me.
Robo,
Yeah.
at least
It's
with Getter
manly
Robo,
as fudge, man. There's no need to be whiny and get a robo. It's like testosterone. You need testosterone to even live in that verse or activate or pilot the getters.
at least with Getter Robo, there's still heroics,
Yeah.
which is kind of the point in show in these types of shows.
Yeah, that
You know,
reminds me of the
you
magical
don't
girl
get that
genre
kind of
and
heroic.
American comic books.
You just get emo bullshit Shinji
Clones.
in a Linkin Park video.
Yes.
And
And can I add one more thing to it? It's remind me of the whole basically the whole American comic books in the 90s and magical girls. They had to be dark and gritty in order to be good. And you know what happened to them? Marvel almost died. Comic books are not selling well due to like having #1 issue and everywhere. Yes, there's like there's one Spawn and and there's a dozen like Rob Liefeld and all his rip-offs. But at least Rob Liefeld has a charm.
Rob Liefeld. I mean, I do like Spawn, but Rob Liefeld is.
Yeah, he's one of those where it's like, yeah, he does all right with a few things, but largely he's not very good as he thinks he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't believe I actually agree with Linkara on something for once.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, I must be in hell.
Yeah.
Another thing that I kind of didn't like with another thing, it ties to Evangelion, but it kind of I haven't watched Bennett the Sage in a long time, but he did point out, and I don't really watch him anymore, but in his end of Evangelion video, he pointed out another thing that kind of annoyed me, where he kind of Anno was kind of a little bit fast and loose with how he uses, a bunch of references to like Christianity and Norse mythology. And that kind of annoys me in both movies and games and elsewhere, where they will throw around references to something, but it's not used appropriately.
Yeah, kind of like Family Guy, but with more esoteric religious themes. At least when Xenogears does it, it makes sense
with its plot and themes and everything.
Bingo.
It's like Xenogears is what Evangelion wishes to be, but no one respects Xenogears because it doesn't have like a port. It doesn't have like a re-release. It's only on the PlayStation. The story is bleak and dark as hell. It's been cut. Its development history is sad, man. That even the point that Square rejects it at times. They don't even want to do a port on it anymore. Yeah. And people moved on to went with Xenoblade and whatnot with Monolith Soft. That's where they went.
That's what pisses me off about Squaresoft, man. Bunch of corporate greedy motherfuckers who wouldn't even recognize quality if it slapped them straight in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. But here's the thing. Let me try.
I mean, the closest I could think of for an anime being as close to Xenogears' level of epic would be Votom's Razafon, 5-Star Stories, and Ideon.
5-Star Stories never. Yeah. Many people don't.
If we count the whole new type, and if we also count Turn A Gundam into the whole equation.
Yeah.
That is one criticism I kind of have when it comes to console developers. It's very, very lackadaisical legacy preservation, even if it's games that they're not particularly proud of, but the rest of us actually are appreciative of.
Yeah. That's why I like emulation.
Ditto, dude.
Merchandise games,
I mean,
Lost,
Yeah,
Source
I
Code
still
Lost.
own my PlayStation 3 to play me some PS1 games.
Hell,
Yeah.
my
At the same
PS2
time,
still surprisingly works.
Oh crap!
How's it going, Mr. Anime?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. It's just I just actually popped right onto the stream here, and I was just curious what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, we're basically talking about random stuff, emulation, Xenogears, how Evangelion failed where Xenogears succeeded, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And you know what's a plus with Xenogears? Shinji does not have an evil side that takes over when it's in deep distress. Because nobody can beat id.
Nobody. That's why I got my id avatar, baby.
Yeah. The whole like his theme, and when he comes, he means business. Even if you fight him, you feel dread. Like you gotta, even if you saved or leveled up, you feel dread.
And
'Cause you
then
can't.
of course there's Graf, the Seeker of Power.
Graph,
who's
is that also like
favoring
spoilers?
all the name.
Is that like is that what's his name? Wei? Another form of Wei?
Fei
Fei.
Fei Wong Wong.
Yes, another one.
Yeah, that
Besides
was
id.
kind of a past. That was another one of Fei's past lives that somehow continued on via life preserving technology or whatnot.
Yeah. Better than Evangelion with the seal. People.
Oh yeah, fuck Sele.
Yeah. That's what it's pronounced, Sele, not seal. Haven't been watched that Evangelion in a while.
I know. I recall they pronounced it wrong in Evangelion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I heard it, but my mind's thinking Sela.
Yeah.
basically,
This Ministry's way better than Sela any days.
What? Oh, say that again.
Gazelle Ministry.
Is that one corrupt force in Xenogears?
Yep.
I thought it's the church or.
Oh, that would be the Ethos, who are basically controlled by the Gazelle.
Yeah.
Ministry.
I looked it up. It is in fact pronounced as Zele. Zele. Or Zayla.
Zayla? Zayla? What the fudge, man? It's not pronounced seal, it's Zayla?
Hold on a second. Like ZEHH-LUH, like Zayla, but the first vowel is further back to the mouth. It's a German word, so it's more like Zele.
Zele. Oh my god.
Yeah. German's one hell of a language.
Yeah.
Moon River.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. And what's your thoughts on the blue sky thing? Because Mr. Whedon definitely got hold of it when I started the stream.
Zila. That's how it is. Zila.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing with that studio getting shut down, who did Ice Age.
Test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say
Silence.
what's up, Mr. Anime?
Silence. Oh, is there anything wrong with your end, dude? Cause cutting off.
Yeah, I hear you guys, but I don't hear him.
Yeah, it's must be its internet thing or something like that.
Internet connectivity's a bitch.
Yeah, it's big time.
I'm just lucky I have good connectivity.
Same here, bro.
And they all want us to go on the cloud and make everything online only.
Exactly. Nope. That's why when I download games, it has to be on a hard drive, not on the cloud.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I had to turn off my Hey guys, I just had to turn off my Wi-Fi so that way I can be able to hear you guys better, and hopefully you guys can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, we hear you now.
I hear you perfectly there, Mr. Anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, I actually heard you guys talking about Evangelion and stuff like that, but I really don't like I'm not planning on watching the Netflix version anytime soon because basically,
It's the
I've
butchered
heard
version.
the original version myself.
I'm just like,
And
whatever.
I know
with
that,
it. At this point, dude. I already got Xenogears and Razafon and Votoms and Gundam and
all those mech shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
You were saying
yeah, I'm good.
You were saying 343?
You can talk about me?
Oh, anyway. Well, basically, if you guys are, asking for my personal opinion on like mecha anime, I mean, basically, I do watch like mecha anime from time to time, but but here's the thing. I mean, like Code Geass,
I love Code Geass.
Code Geass is really good.
Yeah, Code Geass is actually really awesome.
Code Geass was okay. I prefer
fan
Votoms.
service could get a little overbearing at times, but it was good.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. But
yeah, I do like Eureka 7 though.
Love that show.
The kids were annoying in that show though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renton, here's another character way better than Shinji Ikari. I mean, Renton actually takes responsibility for his actions. You don't see that from Shinji.
Nope.
If I recall, another Eureka 7 anime got greenlit and had a trailer about a week ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be the final third of the movie trilogy, High Evolution.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting there was more to Eureka than just the first one. So
yeah, I like the first one the best.
I gotta look up what the rest was.
The first series is the best, really. Holland may be a douche, but he redeemed himself in the end.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the thing about why certain anime are way better than Evangelion, because they have better characters, they have better character drama, they have better story structure. The references aren't in your face, and
it's more balanced.
Yeah. It's more about surf culture and whatnot.
Giant robots on flying surfboards.
Yeah, regional idea.
Dude, I would just kill for a mecha anime with heavy metal references and all that, dude. Yeah. I mean, 5-Star Stories and Heavy Metal Gaim kind of had that, but I'm more thinking Bastard if it was a mecha anime.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm just looking at a blog right now. Like, basically, it's like this person here wrote a blog. It's really interesting about deconstructions and whatnot. Let me just link you to the blog for you guys here. It's on the chat for those who are interested here. In the chat here is like a really interesting blog about. I was talking to a guy on Twitter with involving the Powerpuff Girls reboot, and dark and gritty doesn't mean it's good.
Nope.
No.
Just because no. doesn't mean it's always going to be good. I mean, Evangelion was dark and gritty, and look where it ended up. It's a trash fire.
Don't
I
know
mean-
why people liked it so much. It's meh.
That's a problem that I think a lot
I
of
can
people
think of a
had with
few
the new
reasons.
50.
I mean, the mech designs are really good reasons.
That's the only thing I like about it. Alex, what you about to say? Couldn't hear you.
That's one of the problems people had with DC Comics as of late with the new 52. Everything is
Ugh.
overly dark and overly miserable with red skies everywhere and
Oh,
hideous
just like
costumes.
Ultimate Marvel. Like Ultimate Marvel back in the day.
I don't think about it. That's pretty much what New 52 was, just an in-universe attempt at making their own version of Ultimate Marvel. Just a
I
couple
like
of
it.
years late.
I like me some gritty and dark storylines. Ask me why my favorite mecha video game of all time is Xenogears.
Yeah.
For God's sakes. But here's the thing. Dark and gritty has to be done right.
Yeah.
It has to have some moments of levity. It has to.
It needs to give you room to breathe.
Yeah.
Exactly, because basically,
And that's
guys-
also what Nier also did well, because it also gave you some moments of levity within the really dark and depressing storytelling.
The Darkness video game, which is heavily slept on as far as comic book games go, that one had a lot of moments where it kind of sat you down and was like, okay, we're taking a break from the mob.
And there's the
Carnage.
Splatterhouse PS3 game, which also had and Jim Cummings as the Terror Mask.
Slaughterhouse.
actually, it's Splatterhouse.
Yes,
Oh,
Splatterhouse, dude.
Splatterhouse.
That's what I said. Splatterhouse.
Yeah, they did like a reboot of the first game, but it didn't sell well for whatever reason.
Because IGN.
Like,
Yeah, basically,
You're
when
right.
are freaking games journalists gonna get off our freaking dicks about this whole freaking bullcrap about trying to bring in SJWs and feminists as being quote unquote gamers, while actually those people keep freaking screaming Gamergate over like the most stupidest of things ever, you know?
Yeah, that brings up a good point, because basically, what does Gamergate have to do with a pizza, for example?
That's the real joke, man.
Yeah, because now this era of comic books, like 10 years or 20 years or so, this era will be mocked just like in the 90s. With the whole SJW, the horrible artwork, Kamala Khan, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Those are like the only comic book characters that people remember.
I mean, Miles Morales is probably the least offensive of the bunch, but
Yeah.
is anyone going to
I don't
remember
hate
him?
Miles Morales, but he's not exactly Spider-Man, if you ask me. That's more Peter Parker.
Yeah, let's call him the Spider. Let's call him like the Spider or Spider Boy. Spider Boy,
Yeah, Spider-Boy. Spider-Boy
God.
works.
Yeah.
Although I have to really say that basically, if you guys truly want my opinions on something,
Yeah.
like how like Kathy Griffin, for instance, actually was holding up a freaking beheaded bloody.
Oh
Yeah, ruined her career. Don't feel bad for her, man. You don't do that to a president.
No, guys, hear me out.
Yeah.
After that, she actually started freaking blaming Gamergate for her actions instead of taking accountability.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's so much better.
What does a president have to do with
Kathy
Gamergate?
Griffin. I'm glad
Looks like you ain't getting no jobs.
you fucking tanked.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the most morally righteous crowd in the universe. Don't judge us.
Yeah, screw them.
Yeah, sorry,
what's
you
about to
do
go
not
down.
get to cry more virtue chief when you hold up the head of a duly elected leader and want us to think that's funny.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Also, I also think that this whole freaking impeachment crap that's been going on as of late is actually freaking just, a waste of time. It's actually a waste of taxpayer dollars. And basically nothing is actually getting freaking done.
Of course not. They're only doing it
They
one
never
to waste
got
their
done
time.
because of those SJW crybabies.
Well, it's also
Tribalists,
it's not only a giant circle jerk. It's also they're trying to basically punish the rest of us for thinking outside their bubble. Because
Yep.
that was why Trump was elected in the first place. He was a repudiation against all of the nonsense we had with Obama, and before him, Bush, Clinton, and Clinton.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. I'm
Yeah.
starting to think Ronald Reagan was the last great president because, come to think of it, that's kind of why the 80s was so great in the first place. Great anime, great music, great video games, just greatness all around the board.
Yep. I'm not a Reagan fan. I think the last president was John F. Kennedy that got assassinated. That was the end of an era, which felt like it.
I personally think JFK's death overshadowed what was a rather mediocre presidency, but I can kind of understand why some would be, look back on him more fondly.
Yeah.
I do think that he never should have botched the Cuban invasion when it was underway, because that pulling out when he did was just a bad move.
Yeah, and almost led to World War III, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Yep.
he kind of caused the Cuban Missile Crisis after that, and had to mad dash to stop it from getting worse.
Yep.
I do
Oh,
like
yeah.
his.
I'm
I do
afraid-
like his.
yeah,
speech, though, but
It was by dumb luck we avoided nuclear Armageddon.
Yep.
Ay, ay, ay.
This is why I hate politics all around, because basically,
Exactly. No one wins except them.
pretty much.
We don't
Oh,
talk about
nobody
that
wins
crap in the channel podcast, man.
Uber elite,
Yeah.
of course.
All it does is cause fights and cause misery. That's what it does. Twitter's the proof of that.
exactly.
I prefer calling it twatter.
Trotter or the bird.
Yeah,
I like
basically,
calling it twatter. Oh, sorry.
hang on.
You're-
Guys, I'm right back. I gotta do something real quick.
Okay.
So-
Uh-oh.
I just need a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so anyways, basically, I'm reading this. Sorry about being silent almost at the time, because besides hearing you guys speak, letting you guys speak, I'm just reading this blog and paying attention. And this guy, you can just check out the link in the chat right here. And he just brings his point on reboots and whatnot, and I kind of agree with him. Because, for example, with the whole magical girls and superheroes before we got sidetracked with some awesome commentary, it's like being dark and gritty is cool. Bro, there's there's always a Watchman or a freaking Madoka Magica. People think, oh, dark and gritty is cool and whatnot, which they miss the main point of it.
It has to be more than cool, and I'm using the finger quotations here. It has to have a point. It has to have meaning. It has to have that panache that
Exactly.
pretty much made me fall in love with
Those
games
genres.
like Xenogears, with anime like Armor Trooper, Votoms, and all that.
Yeah.
Hell, Warhammer 40,000 is dark and
Dark.
gray, but
It feels like
at
a
the same
parody.
time, it's over the top as fuck and doesn't take itself too seriously.
Exactly, dude. I mean, we're talking about the most grim, dark universe anyone could ever imagine, and nobody ever takes this seriously for good reason, because this is a little too messed up for even for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those fiction universes where you kind of just have to laugh at the absurdity of it.
Yeah. It's basically a
And,
parody
and also,
at this point.
And whenever someone like PETA or SJWs start crying about it, it's like you realize you're mad at a bunch of plastic figures, right?
And then there are
harming
those.
anyone.
And then there are those types of SJWs that claim to be fans of Warhammer 40K and think this is a rally cry against fascism. Never mind that. Surprise! They're the fascists. They claim to be they're the same fash they claim to be bashing.
Always were.
Yep. Exactly. Like they don't like every Watchmen or so they had a point why it's all dark and gritty because of story reasons or what if. But most of its clones are like make it dark and gritty for no reason. Besides like 40K, they mostly are misses because people tend to like view them as schlock or view it as like roll eye material. That's how messed up the whole two genres are. And people say that the dark age of comic books are over.
No,
but let me just say, no, they're not. It still has
man. It just
it
just evolved.
It just evolved, and we have people who hate superheroes writing the comic books. Like seriously.
And then we also get people bullshitting, taking a big fat wet shit on Stan Lee's grave.
Yep.
That is just disrespectful right there. That is just totally freaking disrespectful.
Big time. Is that from a book or something?
Shit, Sherlock.
Is that from a book or something? Because basically they just disrespected the father of that made comic books mainstream and made comic books mainstream and just talked to him in his own biography like that. Dude, no wonder why American comic books are dying. Because they truly have not evolved. They truly have not gone over the whole dark and gritty and bad writing of comic books of Inkara fame. He didn't create the comic books, but he reviews bad comics, and I agree with his term for once. I review bad comics burn or something like that.
Where bad comics burn, yeah.
Where bad comics burn.
Like Inkara at all, especially his bullshit stance on fan service. Yeah.
I've enjoyed the man's work for years.
No problem if nobody likes fan service, but constantly bitching about it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with him. It's like I enjoy his reviews and his work, but every time he goes on a fan service rant, like sometimes where it's justified, like the Catwoman Elseworlds one, where it's like it's the artwork is hideous and there's no reason for any of it. I get it. Yeah. But whenever it's like but then you have the ones like the most recent, like the Cry for Justice one. Like Cry for Justice has a lot of issues. That woman's costume is not one of them.
Yeah.
So, except for the mask, I can agree with that. But the whole whining about the figures and everything else is just like, come on, dude. There's more important things wrong with it than just that.
I bet you he's never actually seen an actual woman in real life, though. Basically, that's just me talking here. But, I gotta say, if he's never seen a woman IRL, then basically that's gonna be pretty much, my point right there. Because basically, these people have never seen an actual, sexy woman in real life.
Not to mention, I've been on a couple of his video game streams.
They're just desperate for the Clinton. They're just going for the lowest common denominator.
And I've been on a couple of Linkara's video game streams, and there are still people that comment saying, "Oh, the fans are the problem with Star Wars." And I'm like, you have not paid attention and done actual research into any of it. And I tell them, the media were the people who were going after Akvik Best and would not leave Jake Lloyd alone. The fans were actually more. I mean, the fans were harsh on George, but they were pretty. For the most part, harmless when it came to the actual actors themselves. And it's like, oh, the media is not the problem. And I'm like, you fucking idiots. So it's like,
Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
Basically, the media are the freaking liars in all of this.
Yeah.
Basically, they just actually make whatever opinions they have, especially when it came to the butts of the Mass Effect trilogy. Being remastered, and basically
don't even get me started on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Jesus Christ,
dude! Can I add a thing with that? Because basically, besides the whole fan service issue, but the whole thing that gets me on my nerves is that they're selling a product with corrupt source code. Already, you're getting a broken product. No DLC added. Still bugs and glitches with the original, which had problems. broken source code. Yes, they're selling you a broken product, and no one's caring about that.
Not only that, it's a product that BioWare never fixed, which is my biggest issue with them. Like, I give Bethesda shit for being lazy with their quality control, but I honestly think BioWare is even worse than Bethesda, because not only do they not fix their games, they throw their games under the bus.
That's
They don't sell.
BioWare, man.
Bingo, Alex,
They used to
bingo.
make awesome games. I remember a time when I
They're
enjoyed
like,
a
I
BioWare
remember
game.
the time
That
back
was-
in the day that BioWare was like the Nihon Falcom of the Western world. Believe it or
Bingo.
not.
I mean, they gave us Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Okay, 2 was more Obsidian, but you know what I mean. They were basically... Yeah, those two were considered canon before the sequel shit all over everything. Oh, and then of course there's also the High Republic. Like,
No one cares about.
Nobody cares about High Republic.
Exactly. And yet they're gonna give it to us anyway because fuck my life.
Yup.
No thanks. My money's going to re-releases of the EU. Thank you very much.
Yep. The EU, which they still get pissed off about to this day.
And I love how the so-called fans, they try to pretend it wasn't canon, even though there's so much evidence showing, yeah, George liked the EU. He still had to go through it, him, in order to go into canon, and he made sure it falled in line with his movies.
Yeah, exactly. With the High Republic, it's the opposite. It's a whole mess with dinosaurs, Jedis riding animals, space pirates. Yeah, there's space pirates in Star Wars.
I mean, there's always been space dinosaur-like things in the. I mean, like in Courtship of Princess Leia, there's one. I can't remember the name of it, but that should be an accessory to what you want to do, not a number one goal. And they clearly have anything but a number one goal.
Yeah, and the High Republic just makes the Jedi look worse.
Do you make Jedis riding dinosaurs sound retarded?
I don't know. Probably Disney, I guess, because those people who are right on the committee don't seem like actual Star Wars fans.
Yeah, like I read through Princess Leia. They're on planet Dathomir. They have a Lord of the Rings style siege battle between the Imperials and the Night Witches. And by the time that happened, you know, the good witches are with their pet rancors throwing rocks, and I'm just reading it on the sofa like, yeah, let's fucking go. Yeah. Then I look at all of this and I'm like, none of this entertains me because it's so soulless.
Soulless and boring, and none of the characters are likable, let alone rememberable. Everyone's a whiny freaking bitch. Can't the Jedi cannot be whiny because it affects like no emotions rule or something like that? Emotions will lead to the dark side.
Oh, if not even that, they're all plagiarized from one character or concept from another.
Yeah, that too.
Jedi was more an influence from Buddhism, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Shaolin monks and whatnot. Samurai culture and the Shaolin monks.
Yep.
Yeah, a bit of Bushido and Hindu and Buddhism.
Yeah.
Probably a few things from Islam as well, because I know Qui-Gon Jinn's name. Well, look at his name. It's a reference to, the Jinn. I believe Cameron Pasha, who's done a few streams with the Geeks and Gamers crew, he's mentioned the various influences. Not just...
Now you mentioned it, Qui-Gon Jinn does sound Islamic.
Yeah.
And
don't know about that though. But
the Jinn part anyway.
Yeah.
And I believe he mentioned the robes were partially inspired by like Bedouins.
Yeah. Thought the whole like Bedouin thing, I thought that was based on samurai, but I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Seriously, who loved the Old Republic? Because that to me is the real universe. But here's my thought of it with the whole Star Wars High Republic. I think it's a fabricated lie created by like Palpatine or not Palpatine or the Jedi Order in order to cover up their dark history. That's what it is. Don't view me as crazy, but I think the High Republic is a fabricated lie. created by corrupt Jedi or Jedi that want to that bury their dark history.
Let's be honest, everything under Disney Wars is fabricated.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Especially
The sequel trilogy is a universe created by Palpatine. The end. An alternative universe created by Palpatine.
yeah, Palpatine's not even that interesting a villain, to be honest. Now
Yeah.
you Vong, baby.
Yeah, Wulong Gong is like Star Trek. That was the turning point of Star Wars because they're so advanced. The whole series becomes Star Trek.
I wouldn't say advanced in the technical sense, just like completely out of whack from the galaxy because they're not of the galaxy. How they operate is just totally different. It's an invasion of a completely
different universe, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell,
it's basically
Thrawn, freaking badass as a villain.
Oh yeah, Thrawn. Like
What
I
about
cannot.
Lord Dredd?
Yeah, I like
Darth Dredd.
dude.
Not Darth Dead Dredd or something like that.
You mean Crate?
Crate, yes, Darth Crate, yeah.
And then there's Darth Nihilus, who is basically a Lovecraftian Sith Lord, or so I heard.
Yeah,
Dude, you look up the Tales comic. It's black and white. Stars one of the characters from the video game and how she ended up becoming Nihilus's apprentice. It's practically a horror comic.
Yeah, basically, guys, don't even get me started on people actually saying like H.P. Lovecraft was a racist and stuff like that, because basically people can't even learn to actually do actual like freaking what I want to say there research on like people from history and stuff like that. And the lore
back in the day are racist, man. And blacks in his time are like treated like dog crap back in the day. So
Yeah,
Thrawn will be
Not
racist.
to mention, Lovecraft was more a misanthrope than anything.
Yes, he hated humans. He hated Jews too. Don't forget that. He hated anyone that's outside his social circles to begin with.
Well, he was kind of raised to be that way. It wasn't entirely his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his works were amazing, but man, what a misanthropic jerk.
Yup. Big
Yeah,
time.
he's one of those people where you kind of have to look at him in a certain way, in regards to, his time and his family life.
Yeah.
And a weapon. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but Weaponized Nerd Rage did like a very good video on Lovecraft on Halloween last year.
Need to see that one.
I'll put the link in the bar. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to look up this interesting video, what executives are. Let me just type it in the chat. It's in my likes. On my back. Back and...
Putting it up. Hold on.
So my video... Yeah. Virtual blasting and the whole executive thing, which was a really good video. Hasbro. Back in the day, Retro Blasting makes some good videos.
Yeah, Retro Blasting's a good channel.
Exactly. I'm
Especially
just looking
for
for
the
the video.
Especially for the Robotech stuff.
Yeah.
They should do more anime content, though.
Agreed. Voltron and Robotech. I have no problem. I love the Robotech first trilogy, the first entry of Robotech because it got me into Macross, to be honest.
Yeah, I have no issue with Robotech whatsoever. I mean,
Except Harmony Gold.
Macross Saga.
That's
Southern Cross was okay. And I definitely love Genesis Climber Moss Speeder.
But
I just actually remembered another mecha anime that I used to love watching called Full Metal Panic.
Ooh,
I need to
love
look
that
that
show.
up.
I especially love the mech designs in Full Metal Panic.
Yeah. Love Full Metal Panic.
here's another thing. It was actually made by KyoAni, Kyoto Animation.
Yeah,
And
the
I got
first season.
Yeah, kind of knew that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was that arson incident back in 2019. Oh
yeah.
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
What
and to
happened to
think
it?
there were idiots cheering as that fire burnt, saying,
What about the people that died, man?
"Yeah,
There was like
fucking
one
And
animators.
manager, I
and
think, that
thanks,
died.
There's
yeah,
scum."
thank God some of that stuff was saved. It wasn't the building where they keep all their source materials and film and whatnot, film masters and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the guys from KyoAni you still get work.
Yeah, still able to make work.
Oh, and
They
here's the
they
good thing.
But
Yeah.
the animators cheering on this disaster.
Animators? You mean anime haters?
Yeah, anime haters is what I meant. Fuck 'em.
Disgusting. Even though with the anime haters, that's still kind of a sick thing to do, cheering on victims like that.
Oh, don't even get me started on real Maoist rebel claiming it's calling for death to degenerates who like anime. Fuck that guy.
yeah, anyone who
And-
calls anime degenerate without proper context. Yeah, as far as this studio is concerned, watch Violet Evergarden and bring out the tissues. You'll thank me later.
Yeah,
Yeah, anybody who calls himself real
pedophile.
Maoist rebel.
it's
Yeah,
a pedophile. Look at the Smash community, dude. Ruins filled with pedophiles and predators, man.
and
It
communists.
needs a reboot. The Smash community needs a reboot. Okay.
And with
Yeah.
a help and with a giant
Forget
dose of
a
gatekeeping.
reboot. This whole swamp needs to be drained.
That too. I have to go eat dinner now, so I'll be right back in a couple moments. So stay tuned.
Okay.
You guys, these two guys keep you company.
All right.
So, what other mecha anime you got for us, Mr. Anime?
Well, beyond that, I don't really have much because basically I haven't really seen much mecha anime. Basically, here's the
Mr. Anime, what I am about to do is show you some sites I really want to show you.
Mob
I mean-
Love is one that I want to watch next. And Votoms.
well, basically I haven't
Oh,
been
Tom,
watching
baby.
anime, but basically I have been watching. I'm still keeping track of focusing on freaking Redo a Healer since I've been really interested in that series.
Yeah,
I mean,
Redo a Healer seems nice. I mean, it's got a nice premise and all that.
But here's the thing. You see, I actually had a former friend of mine, Yakuza Western Killer, which my
Yeah,
friend
the guy doxed you.
Since girls gem actually or a D&D girl kept calling him Sad Fat Betty. Yeah, basically he actually did this freaking exposed video on me. I'm using exposed as air quotes because he just actually decided to actually just go on a tangent about me. And then he actually had the audacity saying that, Redo a Healer is actually a freaking cookie cutter isekai anime. When it's actually more like a Peggy Sue, like a dark, etchy fantasy anime. Do some research,
It's more ecchi anime than isekai, really. And that's coming from a guy who is sick and tired of all the isekais coming out. Let's get some mecha love. Let's get some cyberpunk love, Japan.
There was one that I watched a couple years ago. I think it was on Netflix. I don't think it's there anymore. I wonder. I don't know if it is, but it was called. It's not really. It has a mecha in it, but I wouldn't call it a mecha focused show exactly. It was called Gargantia on the Virtuous Planet.
Oh,
Where it's takes
Gargantia?
place in the future.
Yeah,
and-
that's
Yeah.
actually kind of mecha if you think about it. I mean, it's more so like It's more so like Lasner than anything, really.
Yeah, I like that. I liked that one. It was like a bit of a sci-fi slice of life mixed with. I look of it as basically anime version of Waterworld with the giant
Yeah.
robot.
Speaking of mecha slice of life, y'all motherfuckers should be watching Bat Labor, man.
Wait, Pat Labor, the
Yep, Bat
machine,
Labor.
the mecha cop one.
The very same.
Ah, yeah, that one's on my list.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and actually find it and basically watch it again.
Yeah, not to mention the mechs in Bat Labor are just some of the most badass looking I've ever seen. I mean, Alphonse, badass. The Griffin J9, uber badass.
There was one.
Type Zero. Do I even need to go into that much detail on how much badass that how much badass it is that it practically looks like Tekkaman Blade?
Hmm.
Come to think of it, Yutaka Izubuchi was going to be the mecha designer for Tekkaman Blade at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There was another one. I mean, I liked the Earth-based mecha for it, but I didn't like it at all. It was called All Noah Zero. Anyone watch that one?
yeah.
Thank you. That was pretty much my opinion when I finally finished it.
Yeah. Worst mecha anime ever next to Darling in the Franxx. Good God.
Easily, Girl Again Orobuchi's worst written anime that I've seen out of the guy, and I loved Fate Zero. I hear the one puppet show that he did is very good.
Orobuchi's work. I mean,
But
I liked Psychopath.
what I didn't like about but what I didn't like, Psychopaths. Yeah, I liked that one. I need to go back and watch season 2 and the movie. But what I did not like about Fate, All Noah, was that it was too much of a mishmash of everything, not just Gundam, but like so many other anime and video games that we've seen over and over again. It's like there's nothing original there. Not to mention
the main character looks so uninteresting. He's basically John Doe Japanese boy pretending to be Chiriko Kuve.
The main character is duller than dishwater, and the other characters around him make so many dumb decisions. I'm just like, why should I care about any of you?
Well, here's the thing, guys. It turns out that basically it's called the otaku paradox. Basically, that's why they kind of got so much into a rut with trying to come up with something new, but it's becoming more and more cookie cutter because it's actually something that people are trying to actually wrap their heads around, trying to make up something new and unique when it comes to making anime.
They basically ran out of ideas and had to scramble something together best way they could.
And that's why I wish it was the 80s again, because good Lord, we need some good sci-fi anime.
I think another problem is, I mean, yes, it's capitalism, I understand, but I think if they
not so much capitalism, so much as it's cronyism, really.
I think what they need to do is slow down, maybe maybe cut off a couple of projects or 50 and focus on ones with the most promise and see, okay, how's this one work? Just cut the fat
and actually pay the staff, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're overworked, they're underpaid. You have them doing too many projects at once. So yeah, it's too much happening at once. Slow down. And the Japanese have that rather. I mean, I give them credit for how hard they work as a people, but they go overboard to the point that
they pay the fucking staff, for God's sake.
And just maybe I don't know, let them go home earlier, let them relax, because you have men who are in their 50s
Spend time with
literally
their
falling
families.
over.
I mean, some of these guys even got families to.
Yeah,
feed.
but they're staying until the dead of night, and they don't have any rest. They barely have a vacation, and they're like falling over in their 40s from exhaustion.
Some of them are contemplating suicide.
Not to mention the back problems they must have from sitting in the chair drawing all day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I get tired from standing up at my job since I work at a Goodwill, and I'm often standing up hauling books to put in the bookshelves because I'm basically the store librarian. But I'd rather at least do that for half the day than sitting down on an office chair for the whole time. Because at the very least, it gives me a little bit of exercise in my back.
Still waiting to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Basically, freaking everything is being locked down as for part of the freaking Democratic overlords that have actually decided to try to get rid of Donald Trump. And look at where we are now. We're freaking just dealing with this.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Biden. You're really doing a bang-up job and keeping us safe from ourselves.
Yeah, ironic considering that more cases went up under him than they have under Trump. So much
for blame Trump for how he handled the coof.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Biden was the one saying, "Don't close the border, otherwise you're a xenophobe." So I'm sorry. Shoes on the other foot, Creepy Joe. Fuck you. Absolutely, fuck you, Cho.
I call him Uncle Chode.
That's a good one.
That's basically what he is. A fucking chode.
Yeah. Yeah, and a puppet with very little brain left. I hope he take your mask and chode.
That's really all he is. A chode puppet for the Illuminati masters. Yeah.
Why do you think they want Trump gone? He's the one.
And I think that basically Kamala Harris might be worse if she actually takes over as president.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Big time.
But she's a minority. That's great, right? No.
Oh, yeah, that's all fine. If you ain't locking up other minorities.
I mean, look at my people, like the Jews. Like, I'm very defensive when it comes to that subject, but whenever when it comes to the anti-Semitism and all that, but I'm going to be perfectly honest, even we have our bad apples. And Leon Trotsky, Jewish or not, that man is responsible for some horrible crimes that happened under the Soviet Union. So really, it doesn't matter where you are, where you come from, or what religion you are. An asshole is an asshole regardless.
Yeah, don't even get me started on Karl Marx. I mean, were it not for him, the 20th century would not be nearly as fucked up as it was then.
I mean, there were other philosophers that were thinking over the same ideas as him, but Marx was the most popular and radical of the bunch of his time. So, who's to say we wouldn't have had a much more peaceful, much more naturally done version of it under somebody else? But we got shafted with the timeline we are in now, and we just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, that's why I say fuck this timeline. I'm wondering if there's an actual way to escape to another universe where I actually get to pilot my labor robots.
Why do you think they're trying to go after Elon Musk? It's like, yeah, we're trying to go to Mars.
Don't even get me started on the SJWs going after Elon Musk just because he wants to get us into fucking space. Jesus fucking Christ, baby.
Yeah, and Biden is like, oh no, you can't. You're still beholden to me, and I'm like, fuck it, Team Xeon all the way. Minus the colony drops.
Much as I prefer Team AU, I'm gonna say this: Sig motherfucking Xeon, bitches.
Minus the college drops. On second thought, maybe spare one.
Yeah. We're good. Yeah, we're still dropping colonies on your asses, man.
Yeah, drop one on
fuck the world.
Beijing and on DC.
Don't forget California, dude.
Oh,
Colony
Silicon
drop
Valley.
on California would be a massive improvement to the United States.
Oh, turn Silicon Valley into Glass Valley with that impact.
Yeah, we could definitely use some more glass if you ask me.
Yeah, to turn it into a glass parking lot and then break the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Watch
gonna
it all
probably
come
find me.
crumbling down.
You're probably gonna be finding me piloting a company cross between New Gundam and Sazabi. Yeah, I have that much of a. I'm that much.
You were saying?
Grandiose person, man.
Oh, between the new and the high new, I like the high noon a little more. I just like the bulkier, tankier look with the angel wings.
Yeah, the high new's way better in my book, man. It's one of my favorite mobile suit designs. It's one of my favorite Gundam designs next to the Zeta, or more rather the Hyper Zeta as done by Kazumi Fujita.
Also, it has one little gimmick that carried over from the Alex Gundam that I really like, and it's arm-mounted chain guns. Who doesn't love that?
Fuck yeah!
I mean, it's only one arm with the chain gun, but still.
Yeah, that's coming from a guy. That's coming from a guy like me who wishes Kazumi Fujita was still doing mecha designs to this very day.
Who?
You know, Kazumi Fujita, the guy who designed the Zeta Gundam for.
Oh. Okay.
And I also love the Unicorn too. I mean, that may just be the Xenogears fanboy in me talking, but there is just a lot about the Unicorn I love. I mean, from its arsenal of weaponry to its innovative control scheme. Hell, even the fact that it's powerful as all fuck.
Sorry, I had to get something to eat, you guys.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah, the Unicorn I really like. I do think the Master Grade kit is a bitch to build because the torso and the waist just doesn't connect, but the way when it's revealed in the anime, it's just
the Unicorn?
awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the actual Gundam Unicorn just now, right? Or am I thinking something else?
Yeah, I mentioned the Unicorn.
Yeah. I mean, that reveal when it happens in the OVA, just thing of beauty.
Yeah, that's mecha porn and hands down, dude.
And of course
and of course, and not to mention Gundam Unicorn is chock full of mecha porn, which is why I love it so much.
Oh, that the scene that gets me is the one where all the Neo Zeons start coming out, and you have all the random battles happening between the various grunt suits. It's like grunt suit heaven right there. New models, old models, all of them just duking it out.
Yeah, don't forget. I was rooting for the Stark Jagan and throwing down against the Kshatriya, dude.
I don't care how big I don't care how big it is. I want a master grade of the Kshatriya so bad.
Dude, I'm just cool with a high grade of Kshatriya. Hands down. I like my action figure model kits, man.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I'm happy. I am a proud owner of a master grade Verka Hainu.
Oh, I got a master grade Verka Hainu as well, but I haven't built it yet. I've kind of been stuck on the full armor from Thunderbolt.
Oh yeah,
I started it.
Thunderbolt. That's another great Gundam series with Hornet plenty.
Oh yeah, the full armor Gundam itself in that one is just a evil motherfucker, but I love it. It's just the way the face looks just gets me.
Oh yeah. Then of course there's the Atlas Gundam.
The Atlas Gundam, I'm not a big fan of because of how scrawny it is, but it has a uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the mechs from Eureka 7, believe it or not, because of how it rides on those booster pods it has.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
Hey.
Man, you're good.
Yeah, continue.
But yeah, I need to finish the Thunderbolt Gundam that I have. Like, I started it last year, but you know, it got to a point where I got tired due to fiddling around with the vinyl garbage tubing that goes inside the legs to cover the joints, and I was just like, "Fuck me, I need a break." And I've kind of been pushing it off, kind of like I have with Gundam Seed, because it's like I dread doing that, and there's a whole bunch of other little pieces, such as thrusters and shit, to go on it, and I'm like, "What kick? Why did I pick this kit?" So yeah, I need to go back and finish it. I would like to get to the high new or one of the 00 ones that I have, whichever comes first.
Oh, Gundam 00 is basically Gundam Wing done great.
Thank you.
I like
Somebody else
Gundam Wing,
agrees.
but 00 is better.
Yeah, for me, 00, the first season especially, blows Wing out of the water because
Yeah, the second season was not so bad too.
I liked the second season a lot, really, but I can understand why it's not as great. The film, I like the films. Well, I wouldn't say it's good because, and I could, but
Yeah,
I do.
It's more aping off of Ender's Game.
Yeah, that's the main problem with it, plus other structural and character writing issues. But I will give it credit for trying to be out of the box a bit, because even though it's not really original, Aliens and Gundam, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that because
I would like more Gundam extra solar.
Yeah, because there's only so many times you can do the whole Earth versus colonists thing until it gets old, really old.
Yeah.
And the L's were actually pretty creative in the fact that they're not just random. They're not another sapient civilization that look more human than they probably should. They're basically
that anime was basically influenced by Ender's Game.
Yeah, the Elses are basically a race of T-1000s in a hive mind, which is why I kind of thought they were cool in that way. So when they first showed up, it was like kind of horrific. Like, what are these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost H.P. Lovecraftian if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I like that's why I like original like Mass Effects, because basically it's not just like humans, like say like other like other alien races, like the Turians, the Asari. Then you got like the other ones as well. I mean, it's actually so freaking diverse, and basically they're trying to do away with all of that, and try to actually just focus off of the meeting with between like other races and stuff like that. But
in other words, they're trying to make everything homogenous, just
humans
like usual.
Yeah.
And boring.
Yeah.
It's like they say diversity, but it's like not. It's
they don't actually believe in diversity. It's just they're just looking for clout.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
They're
it's
clout
like
chasers is what they are.
Yeah, everything, and ironically, they make everything as boring, bland, and samey as possible.
Like an executive meeting, like those board meetings they have. That's what it is. That's what they are. They want to impress those people, but they fail even that doing that.
Yeah, because they count the dollars and they realize, the thing you're doing, it's not working. You should probably try to think outside of the box, but they're like adamant and like, no, It's our way or the highway. Fuck our audience who pays us their money.
And you take the highway. You're fired.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Also, I can't.
They don't care about making a good product. They just want to force their woke bullshit message down everyone's throats.
Yep. They don't want to do it their own products because it takes time, effort, and money. So they know they fail on that. And plus it requires work, which they don't believe in.
That's just stupid.
The only time I know Woke Scold was creative was Steven Universe.
Yeah, that's when that came out.
I never watched Steven Universe, and I don't plan to.
Same here.
Yeah.
I watched it and I didn't like it too much.
There's also the Lancer RPG, tabletop RPG with mechs.
Yeah. Oh. Lancer.
It's great if you can just ignore the author's political ramblings on Twitter.
Water. Twatter.
I thank you, Raging Golden Eagle, for coming up with that.
You're on the twatter on the bird.
I don't think Raging Golden Eagle was the only one who thought that one up.
That man in his beautiful accent could make it more terms, and I'll be perfectly fine using them.
Twatter, and don't forget, what's that? I call the Phantom Audience. Let's get to that, man.
And then there's It's a Gundam, who is just a badass of the highest caliber, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically his content is just as hilarious. And I also supported Raging Golden Eagle by actually buying like 2 versions of Blade Devil. And I'm still waiting on when it's going to be coming in. And I haven't heard.
I'm still waiting until Blade Devil comes available on Amazon, because you know me.
I missed backing Blade Devil because I was not really into the whole Kickstarter Indiegogo stuff back then. Because
makes perfect
basically, when you've been fucked over by the gaming industry as long as I have, and you're like, okay, no, unless it's a product people are being positive of and have good reason to be, then I'll invest in it, which is what I did with Common America.
Same here. That's what I actually did as well. I actually decided to back Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini, and Mark Pellegrini actually thanked me for also doing comic reviews for Common America's Volume 1 and 2. And I also
I heard many good things about Common America.
And considering how much the institutions have become a giant leftist echo chamber where nobody right of mouth can say anything without being fired, I decided to put my money where my mouth is and say, fuck it. If I'm going to partake in this culture war, I got to put my money where my mouth is and give it to those deserving of it when I can anyway.
Exactly.
I have very high aspirations of turning into Captain Harlock. In that I'm against tyranny of any kind.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give my money where due when they do something by right, like for example the Star Wars EU. But by and large, if it's unless it's I gotta give it to where the real quality is coming in. Like I really want to read Galaxy's Edge. Nothing to do with the Star Wars theme park, not at all. But it's basically considered like a successor to Star Wars, and very good from what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
Like there's one character called Tiberius Rex, and he's basically super Boba Fett. Like he's a war veteran who, whenever he goes into battle being a mercenary, he relives his PTSD every time, and he goes crazy for all intents and purposes. So I'm planning to eventually try and get into that when the bills calm down. And I haven't been to a Barnes & Noble in a while, so one thing at a time.
Also, guys, next Tuesday actually happens to be my birthday, so
happy Happy early birthday there, Mr. Anime.
Thanks, guys. Besides, you'll be turning the big 32 next week.
Yeah, you're older than me.
I'm actually older. I'm actually turning 38 this year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm an old fuck. I'm a crotchety old asshole.
God.
By the way, I will also post a link to a Galaxy's Edge review link over here while I'm at it. So yeah, that's the weaponized Nerd Rage one, and now this one that I've posted on the chat. For those interested.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching that later.
Yeah, it's a good review. Kind of gives you a little more insight as to like, yeah, it's similar to Star Wars, but it's its own thing. That does that and is way better than Disney shit.
Basically,
anything has to be better than Disney shit at this point.
Disney nowadays can actually eat a bag of dicks for all I care.
Oh yeah, the dicks probably illegally harvested from the Chinese government. They could choke on them.
You, sir, have won the internet tonight.
Well, the Uyghurs got to get the revenge somehow. So, so what now?
I don't know. Besides, I don't know where freaking Omega went. So
he went to go have dinner, and he was going to come back.
And possibly praying. Possibly praying.
Yeah. Besides, I even came up with an interesting idea for like a magical girl anime, but it turns out that our protagonist isn't really a chick at all. In fact, he's actually an androgynous dude. Oh god! Basically, it's just playing out in my head, and I really want this to work, but basically, we don't know how to actually do like magic.
I've heard of similar concepts.
Yeah, stuff. Not really my thing, but
Yeah, not my thing too, but hey,
give it a go.
Works.
See what happens.
Yeah. Basically, my sisters actually forced me to actually watch freaking Sailor Moon back when I was a kid. So, and basically, I didn't get into it at first, and then basically, I kind of went into it when I was around 13.
Yeah, Sailor Moon's all right. I mean, especially for the girls with short skirts.
I think my sister had like borrowed 2 V8. I think there was one movie and I think an episode on VHS that she borrowed that we rented from Blockbuster, and we watched it a couple of times. And I came out kind of like, that was something. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but it's something. I believe the movie, I can't remember the name of it because they all kind of like added a letter at the end and whatever subtitle it is. It was the one where the tuxedo mask best alien friend or whatever comes down. Mm-hmm. He's like possessed by this flower demon or whatever it is.
That was Sailor Moon R.
Yeah, that one. And I watched that a couple of times, and they all get like wrecked by that flower demon that's mind controlled the dude. And it's just well, things got hairy in that one for all intents and purposes. And I think and the VHS copy of the episode, the regular episode that we watched, it was one where Minnie Moon, I think her name was. I can't remember. Yeah, she and a bunch of kids were getting Pied Pipered. Like this one demon chick was basically hypnotizing children and loading them onto a ship.
I think that was super nice.
So basic Zero Ranger storytelling, huh?
I guess I've never watched the Zero Ranger. I believe that's what Power Rangers actually
Ranger.
came from.
I'll stop that. I'm back.
Hey, we were just wondering when you were gonna come back.
Sorry about that. I
You're
had to
fine.
pray, whatnot, and at the dinner before that, yeah. So you guys are talking about Power Rangers or Jew Ranger?
Well, I was actually talking about we kind of blundered into talking about Sailor Moon because Mr.
Yeah.
Anime had like a magical girl show idea,
Yeah.
and I was talking about how I didn't really watch it, but I had rented a movie and one of the episodes on VHS. Well, through my sister, anyways, back in the old days.
Yeah, and turns out that the premise for my character isn't really like a magical girl per se. It's actually more of an androgynous dude who actually is like a magical animal, and then he actually gets the powers of being a magical girl. Basically, I can just picture the reaction on him when he actually changes into like a freaking magical girl. He just totally freaking tweaks out.
Like, dude, you'll never believe what happened.
Oh,
See, this is why I love anime.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like even the silliest concept, if executed well, can be good. Kind of like how the opposite is true with you can have a great concept, but if it's not executed well, it can be received as bad.
Yeah. An example of a ridiculous concept executed well would be Macross.
Yeah, because of the whole starship aircraft carrier turning into a giant robot, and everyone has to live inside of the damn thing.
Yep.
Don't forget the Pop Idols part, man. Don't forget the Pop Idols.
One of the most original concepts was Macross. Still ages well to this day. The animation wise, yes, it's a TV anime, but the concept of it is still aged well.
Oh yeah.
Movie. The good 80s movies.
Oh yeah.
I need to go watch the next installment of Macross because I watched the original. Okay, even I thought the last couple of episodes were like a dip in quality, but overall, like, yeah, get it. I understand why the series is as good as it is and why it's as loved as it is.
Yeah.
It's basically the younger brother to Gundam.
Hit and miss for me. I did like Frontier. I really like 7. I really want Macross to be a little more like I don't know, Macross VFX 2 for the PlayStation.
The Japanese only game? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically like Macross Plus on steroids.
Yeah.
One series I want to get my hands on is Big O. I mean, basically, it's been like forever since I last watched that show.
It aged pretty well. I liked it.
Basically, I just actually really just want to. I mean, I used to watch it back when it was actually like, during like the midnight run type scenarios. I used to actually remember watching it with my little sister, and basically, she likes Big O as well. And I just actually really just want to sit down and just freaking relive like my nostalgia with that show.
I didn't watch as much Big O as I wish, but I really liked what I saw, namely with the whole, they took a cue from Batman the Animated Series and made like that whole noir look with everything, and it looked very cool.
That anime should have been popular in Japan.
Big O, yeah.
I did not like the end of the series though, where everything just shuts down and gets rebooted. Like, to me, that put a sour taste in my mouth. Like, we went through all this shit, and everything just gets shut down, and they all likely will never remember anything that happened. So it's
that ending was bullshit. But I think I'd much rather Big O's ending over the end of Evangelion. Not gonna lie.
It's kind of the problem that I have with the journey's important, not the destination. I'm sorry, but if the destination is ultimately worthless, then what was the point of the journey anyway? It's the same reason I have so many issues with Mass Effect 3. Like, you mentioned like unknowable, mysterious entities when I mentioned the L's. They completely destroyed the Reapers with Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
they basically.
I prefer the destroy ending of Mass Effect 3 because at least the Reapers get
destroyed.
yeeted off existence. Granted, it also yeets off Edie, but we could always rebuild her.
Yeah, you like, come on, hello, backup programming. You must have it somewhere.
Yeah, robot can have program backups and whatnot, but I'm not the biggest fan of like Mass Effect and whatnot. But I starting to understand its appeal. The first three, at least. It's the first two I meant.
Yeah, the first two. Well, for me, the first game is the one that is 8. I mean, yeah, technologically, the first game is aged not very well, but as far as overall gameplay mechanics are concerned, it's the only one in the 3 that is a genuine RPG, and the one that I felt had the most earnesty when it came to its story and world building.
Yeah.
Then
I preferred the original Mass Effect myself.
Like, 2 was good, but the more I played it,
Xbox at Dubros whatnot.
Yeah,
I mean, 2 was
felt less like an RPG and more like Gears of War in space.
That's the thing. Mass Effect 2 felt like a complete reboot set up as a sequel and made to appeal to the 12-year-olds playing Gears of War. And as a result, I don't like it as much as I do the first one. I had a lot of fun with it, but the more I played it, the more I noticed the blemishes. And I don't mean just the fact that more game bugs just seem to appear every time that I went and played it, because that happened for me. Like, dialogue is missing, character models are yeeting away for no reason. But for me, it was just like, besides all that, the story just felt like it felt like they rebooted it. Like, why did you kill Shepard? What was the point of all of that?
Yeah.
And you have other story bits like Haystrom's son getting blown up, which is where you went to go get Tali in the second game. And it's like, oh my God, suns are going up in smoke because of dark energy buildup. And there was a part of the plot was that Drew Karpyshyn was setting up was, overuse of the Mass Effect relays causes an abnormal buildup of dark energy, and that the reason the Reapers come down every 50,000 years is to cull civilization, so dark energy buildup doesn't destroy every star in the whole galaxy. And to me, that worked way better than the generic, we killed the creators because we didn't like them shit. It's like, okay, we already had that with the guests. We didn't need that with them. And if anything, it makes the Reapers much scarier because they see us as just basically microbes. Like, we're just no different to common pests to them that they have to come and control every now and again. Instead, they just went it down to, we got rid of the creators, so the creators of every race, when they build AI, we kill them so their AI doesn't kill them. It made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that just lessens the Reaper's horror appeal, man.
Like, you have these giant Cthulhu spaceship monstrosities that are based on pure logic, and their logic is absolutely like bonkers. And you don't really give any hints to their being glitched or anything. It's just like, okay, you just fell back on the oldest, blandest sci-fi trick in the book when it comes to AI, and you blundered it spectacularly.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that, because basically, it's actually kind of stupid that people are actually trying to make shortcuts on certain things, and B, it's actually ridiculous that they can't actually come up with something new.
It's like, this is what happens when you send away your main writer to work on a Star Wars MMO. And
God, don't even get me started on Catherine Hepburn, man.
I mean, Karpyshyn was in his element. I mean, he did great with the Darth Bane books. And with him in charge of the writing in Mass Effect, you got a sense as to what the general story was supposed to be and building up on. But when they got rid of him and had Mac Walters take the helm, it's very obvious. Yeah, they pretty much pulled a Destiny and threw out everything that was being built up and said, fuck it, we're just gonna insert our own fanficky nonsense and say, yeah, that's canon, deal with it.
Damn.
And then
sucks.
And the whole and then they pretty much sent him off to work on the Old Republic MMO, which
and then of course there's Movie Bob shilling for for BioWare's bullshit decision to make Catherine Hepler the main writer because, of course, it's fucking movie, Bob.
That guy's a cringe, but let me tell you about this. Because basically, here's my words on it. Why people are shilling for a broken product in the first place? Because basically, it's just like, it's against the gamers. How dare these peasants go against us and whatnot? So they must be punished. That's what I think of it is.
Yep, no different than what they're doing with Donald at the moment.
Yep. Donald.
Oh, yeah. They're basically wannabe feudal lords.
Yeah, but they fail at it.
21st century.
Too bad their people won't accept them who they are. They look at their resumes and just laugh at them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just watching some Macross VFX.
Like I said, wannabe feudal lords who with delusions of grandeur.
Well, if they want to be feudal lords, well, don't be surprised when we start treating them like feudal lords when they act up. French Revolution comes to mind.
Yeah.
Every 200 years of Japanese history comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, torches and pitchforks, baby.
Yeah.
Get your torches and pitchforks, everybody.
For $1, 50 cents for some flame and for some flame and $5 for a pitchfork.
Shall we add chainsaws to that? Make swords out of them, even.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of like watching some Macross VXX gameplay, and it's like Ace Combat with Mac on Macross.
Or more specifically, Ace Combat with the mentality of let's say Omega Booster Zone of the Enders before there was Zone of the Enders.
Thank you, Harmony Gold, for blocking awesome products from us.
You greedy fucks,
Young.
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I'm sorry?
I said, this is why we can't have nice things, because basically people actually have to interject their freaking gender identity politics, unnecessary freaking LG plus freaking whatever you want to add to that. And
I prefer to call it LGBTs. Oh my god, what LG?
I call them the alphabet people.
Oh, not only that, not only the alphabet suit people, not only the alphabet people, but just suits in general who can't read a room. Like earlier, I tweeted out, "Hey, there's these spin-off Yakuza games that take place in feudal Japan, and they look awesome. Why don't we have those over here?" And it's like
Ghost of Tsushima. That was made by an American, so we love samurais and crap.
I mean, Yakuza has exploded in popularity in recent years, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Ninjas?
Yeah.
Like Yakuza has exploded in popularity as of years, so I'm like, what the fuck? Why don't we have these over here? And a friend of mine on Twitter who's like, Way of the Samurai, which was a competing series, I think that was popular for a while, is basically dead. So the suits are like, we're not gonna bring it over here. And I'm like, I understand why Dead Souls failed, because Dead Souls was basically capitalizing on the zombie craze at the time.
Yeah.
And well, nobody plays Yakuza for zombies, so I understand why it failed in that respect. But why not those? So it's like, it makes no sense. I mean, just because one franchise peters out doesn't mean like you shouldn't capitalize on the rest of a series if it's gone popular. I mean, so it's just like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I hope one day I actually freaking get enough money so I can actually go like, buy a residence up in Japan and basically visit, like, Yokohama and see the giant Gundam, maybe visit Akihabara and stuff like that.
Dude,
I wouldn't mind even.
I wouldn't go for me.
Hell,
I wouldn't see the giant ass Gundam and watch it move and buy me some Gunpla and a little bit of some retro games for myself as well.
Hell, I wouldn't mind buying the international versions of those games with the English subtitles and all. But as for going to Japan, really, 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 really want to. I want to see the Gundam. I want to see the Godzilla statue in the middle. That's in the middle of Tokyo.
Oh
And-
yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. You see, this is actually really starting to freaking piss me off. Because basically, when you actually look at it like this, you got all these, like, SJW saying that we're actually colonizing Japan when they're actually pushing, like, Western colonialism onto Japan. And,
I'm sorry, but that
But I'm
sounds
speechless,
like
dude.
projection on
That's
their
a tourist. I'm a tourist, and we're doing tourist thing. We're visiting the country, and they like that.
It's
We're
basically,
appreciating their culture. And
basically
what they're
like,
doing is like what they're doing is the opposite. They're like enforcing people's another idea which they don't agree on, or they're just like colonizing them mentally and emotionally at this point.
Don't
basically
even
it's good
get
when
me
we do
started
it.
on Professor Otaku's G Gundam spiel. Good God. I wanted to wrap my hands around his fucking neck, dig my fingers into his neck, and choke the life out of him. Very fucking slowly.
He had a very wrong opinion on G Gundam, you mean?
Oh, not just wrong opinion on G Gundam. He had the most bullshit takes on Japanese culture and how culture works in general. Oh, period.
Why isn't he viewing anime and has otaku in his name if he hates Japanese culture?
Makes no sense.
Hey, let's look
I don't know.
at some
He's
Japan.
probably just looking for clout because he's a liberal arts. He has a liberal arts degree. That means he thinks he could. That means he thinks he's better than everybody.
Yeah, liberal arts degree means nothing in college, dude. Like basically, it's like a paper. What it's going to do in real life? Answer me this, people. What's it going to do with this in real life? Like basically, how it's going to work, how it's going to affect people's lives, and how it's going to affect when the economy crashes one day.
Yeah.
Does that even? Look at a mechanic? Look at the blue collar jobs. At least you can make a living out of it.
Yeah,
But with like a plumber, video photographer, a construction man, etc. But a liberal arts degree? What the
I'm
hell
actually
is that
more blue
crap,
collar
man?
myself. I mean, I worked at Goodwill. That's pretty blue collar.
The thing is, we have a generation that has been
Lazy.
basically fed snake oil. Like if you go to college, you'll do anything, and it's like,
Oh yeah,
that's the problem. You have a bunch of kids getting sent off, being basically forced and sent and talked into getting degrees for jobs of which there is not enough demand for.
Yeah.
And so they end up working at Starbucks.
Out of that plantation, when I did. Good God, I hate college.
Like I went
Community
through college.
you were in? You went to community college?
I went to both community and regular, and I did my duties. I originally wanted to be a paleontologist, but I couldn't get through the chemistry. I tried my hand multiple times at various other scientific courses, and I just had too much trouble. Eventually,
Dude,
the financial
I wanted
aid.
to be a video game developer, hands down. I wanted to learn how to make my own video games, how to code, how to program. But here's the thing. They kept forcing all this social justice bullshit.
What does the social
studies
okay, sorry about interrupting you, but what the hell does that do with coding and programming and development of software? Tell me
I don't know.
Construction.
Nothing.
That's what it is.
That's just beyond me, guys.
I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yeah.
Exactly what the fuck I'd like to know.
Same here, dude. Look, go on a site called Udemy. And they'll
It's
teach
nothing
you how
more
to code without all the BS, and it's cheaper too.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's nothing more than. Oh, sorry.
And there's even though it's not on sale right now, but even at full price, it's still cheaper than college. They teach you like software programming and learn how to code right now using Python.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. I've also heard about RPG Maker, where you can actually make your own RPGs. And
Yeah. I need to get the software, the latest software for RPG Maker on the Switch or on PC.
Yeah,
In my case, like
once the financial aid ran up, I was just like, fuck this. I'm just doing the courses that I know I'm good in, which is history, and getting out of there.
Yeah.
And since then, I've worked at Goodwill.
Yeah.
I mean,
At least the whole
basically-
Goodwill thing helped you a lot, though.
Yeah,
Gave you
basically-
some money in your pocket and
Yeah, at least
that.
working at Goodwill puts money in my pocket, especially doing the bitch work like janitor work. Yeah, I'd rather take janitor work over whatever liberal arts bullshit they're spewing at me.
Funny enough, there is a place that does work on like dinosaurs and other fossils. Like I live in Florida. The place I'm talking about is called the Dinosaur Store. It's in like Cocoa Beach. They actually do work on actual stuff, and you don't even have to be like graduated or anything. They hand train you. Problem is, I live all the way in the middle of Orlando, and it's like hours to get a couple of hours to get over there. So the only way I could honestly dedicate myself to working there would be to move over there, which I can't do.
Yep, that kind of sucked. I used to live in Florida. I didn't like the place too much.
Yeah, I like my state well enough, but I do wish I did had a better hand in regards to being closer to where I would like to work.
I like my state well enough. I live in
I like
Jersey.
Virginia. You live in New Jersey?
Yeah,
Which part of New
basically
Jersey?
the Cumberland County area.
Say that again, because I used to live in Burlington
Cumberland County.
Cumberland? Is that
Cumberland
in
County.
middle to North New Jersey? Because basically, I thought you used to live at. Oh, wait a minute! I thought I was referencing Mr. Anime. He lives in Maine or Massachusetts, but Matt,
Actually,
you're a Jersey boy. I'm a
Yep,
Jersey boy too. I'm born and raised in Jersey. South
Actually,
Jersey, it is.
I live in Maine.
Yes, I know you lived in Maine. I thought you were talking from one Mr. Anime, but Mr. Whedon, you're from Jersey, Cumberland County, northern central Jersey, right?
I think that's southern Jersey, really.
Oh, been a while since I've been there.
Yeah,
All I
I'm
remember is
that good
Mercer
at my
and
geography,
freaking
but hey,
Burlington.
geography's got to be better than liberal arts.
Exactly. It's at least that's useful. Love looking at the globe and whatnot. I used to be really good at it too, looking at maps and knowing where to go.
By the way, guys, I'm afraid I got a jet. Dinner's ready, so
Yeah,
I like to
I
won't be
got
able to
jet
come
too,
back.
Because
I have to go jet as well because I'm getting kind of
cooking
tired.
dinner or my brother's cooking dinner.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Hope you
so
enjoy your
it'll-
dinner because I have to jet as well. So before we end this video, let me just say that if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please leave a like and a comment in the comment box below the video. And don't forget to subscribe and go in the description box to support the podcast through Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, or whatever. And also, Alex, what you guys final say before I shut down this stream that I made last minute?
Oh, just sayonara, like, share, subscribe, follow us on, on our channels, and to borrow from Mr. Anime, respect the waifus and all that.
Yeah, Mr. Anime.
Yeah, like I usually end my videos. Basically, respect the waifus, enjoy your fandoms, anime is freedom, and until the next time, this is Mr. Anime 343 saying, sayonara, everyone.
And Mr. Whedon, your final words?
If I may steal a line from Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Party on, yeah, like that.
Radical.
And what I have to say is, I already said my final words, and I'm like, want to end this because it's been going on for like 2 hours or so. So that's all to say for now. Peace.